What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to G-Ball Vision. Thank you for stopping in. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the new Liong Mah KUF 3.5. Before we get started, double check and make sure you are subscribed to the channel here. I'd love to have you, and hit that thumbs up button before you head out. I really appreciate it, everyone, and feel free to let me know what you're carrying in your pockets today down in the comments. Love hearing from you. So, the new Liong Mah KUF 3.5. This is something I've had for 6 or 7 weeks now at this point, going on 2 months or getting close to that. And I feel comfortable, certainly enough to do an overview of the knife, of course, but also a short-term review on the knife. I've carried it a lot and I've used it a lot as well in everyday tasks. I haven't beaten the piss out of it. I haven't, run it through a tree or anything like that, but I've carried it a lot. I've used it a lot, and I feel comfortable giving it a short-term review. So let's go over some of the materials. We're looking at MagnaCut, going to be done at 63 to 64 on the HRC. Riot is going to be the OEM. We have this beautiful satin finished, modified sheep's foot style of blade. Just a great looking blade shape. A fairly unique looking blade shape. I love how it tails up to that tip, cants down up here. Just a very well thought out blade shape for everyday tasks, work tasks, and it also is designed to be a kitchen utility folder, so it'd make a great folding knife in that sense as well for various food prep. Now we do have that nice large cutout there for deployment with some jimping up here on the spine. Beautiful titanium, very simple on the hardware here. And then we have a milled titanium pocket clip here, a little bit lower mounted, but very easy to get in and out of the pocket. Grab a hold of this, pull it out of the pocket. Absolutely love it. We do have a full unboxing on this. I'll link that down in the description if you didn't catch that. Nice and simple on the hardware choice here. Now let's go ahead and we'll talk about the action of this knife and the detent. The detent is perfect, and I handled, I think, close to 5 of them at Blade Show, and they were all almost identical across the board. So, and I talked with Liong about the detent and, how does he get it the way he does, or how do, and apparently I'm no expert when it comes to that, but how he requires Riot to press the detent in, it's done a certain way, which garners a certain action. So the detent is going to be very good for the people who may have any worry about that. It is very, very well rounded, very solid, and has broken in and just gotten extremely smooth. It doesn't like drop shut onto your nail like it's gonna close all the way, which I prefer. I like this. It drops about 50% and then just a nice light shake or two, and it smoothly, cleanly goes home. That is the type of closing action I prefer. Nice and controlled, nice and clean. And I didn't skip this. I didn't forget about it. This is not an integral. This is what he calls his mono block chassis, basically. It basically looks like it's an integral, but it's actually 2 pieces there. You can kind of see, let me get, I don't know if that'll work. You can see the line there on the right side of the knife. It is very hard to make out, especially in the lighting right now, but it is 2 pieces, and I much prefer the way that this is done over an integral, because number one, an integral is going to cost probably, in addition to like the $300 price tag that this costs, it would probably be $500 would be my guess, or maybe even a little bit more. And it might be one solid piece, and that's really cool. I do like integrals, but for the benefit of taking this thing apart and cleaning internals and so on, I would much rather have something that looks and feels like it is than actually have it, because the ability to take this apart and clean it, maybe change out bearings or clean bearings or whatever it might be, it's just going to be a lot easier to deal with than an integral might be. Now, you can make the case that with an integral, you know, pull the stud out, take the blade out, and blow everything out with air. So, I mean, it's not much. To me, it's better, but it's maybe minuscule at best. You know, I don't know. I just like the ease of the two scales. Integrals are cool, but I don't know. I'm still on the fence about them compared to this right here. When talking about the amount of money or how much more money it's going to cost to get that integral, right? So I'm standing by what I said. I much prefer this and the price of this over an integral, and it being, you know, $200-300 more than it would naturally be. So let's get some specs here. We're looking at a full 3.5 inches of cutting edge, and we're looking at a total of 3 7/8 to this corner here of total blade length. And then we're coming down around a solid 8 inches strong. So definitely falling into our full size knife category there. Why don't we go ahead and we'll throw up a couple of knives here. Pair of 3 and the PM2. Definitely going to be more in line with the PM2 than it is the pair of 3. And then how about a bug out? And we'll do the Super Freak here. Going to be more in line with that Super Freak, of course. And then we'll go ahead and do the RSK in 20 CV. We have the Hogue Deca version 2 in Magna Cut. And we'll do one more, the 20.5 in AUS 10 there, and it's fairly close to the 20.5, and it's close to the RSK. Not quite as much handle, but definitely close to the amount of blade there. So we'll grab our PM2 here and take a look at the thickness of the handle here. And it's not going to be much thicker, if anything, on the PM2. They're very, very close. Not much thicker at all. We'll go ahead and get the scale out. And one reason I don't do a ton of overviews, just simply because they just simply don't get much watch time. They really don't, and sadly that's the case. I love doing them, but they just don't garner the views that other videos do, so they really take a back seat to other content that I make, which really sucks because I love doing overviews on knives. But I've had a lot of people ask me about this knife and doing a review, overview, doing more on it. So I felt, you know, might as well go ahead, even if it doesn't get many views or what have you. That's okay. There are people out there who want to see more on this knife. 4.9 ounces. I would consider that average. It's not heavy. It's not light. I would say it's perfect. This knife has redeemed Liong Mah in my eyes. I mean, I had little to no issues with my field duty. So I didn't feel like some others did initially. I waited, you know, for the pre-order. I did my time as well. I was one of the lucky ones who got a little bit stronger of a detent than the rest. I had no finishing issues. But how the situation was handled, everyone makes mistakes, and you know, it's time to move on from that. If second chances weren't given to people, if third chances weren't given to people, I know personally I wouldn't be standing here talking to you today if I wasn't given a couple of chances by the people who, you know, are around me. So I'm willing to leave the past in the past, and, you know, everyone has bad moments in their life, and some are just more public than others, right? So willing to move on from that, and that'll probably be the last time I bring it up. But this knife just really wowed me to the point where all these knives at Blade Show that I could get, and, you know, this is one of the ones that I ended up with. It's just so good. The size, the weight, the ergonomics of this thing, the blade shape, the magna cut, the build quality, everything is just really, really well thought out by Liong, and really well done, of course, by Riot. One thing we can do is show it in the pocket for the people who didn't see the unboxing. Like I said, I will link that down below, and there's really good retention on that clip. And like I said, there is a little bit that pokes out there, but I have found that to be of the utmost useful. To get this in and out of pocket very easily, put it back down in the pocket very easily, and, you know, it's a little bit more than a standard milled clip, but it just doesn't bother me whatsoever. The knife has maintained perfect centering since early June. There's no detent lashing. There's no pivot lashing. The lockup is nice and solid. It's getting close to like 45% or so. And then I've had some people ask me about the access to the lock bar. Although it doesn't look like much, right? I have not thought once to myself, oh, I wish there was more access or that it was done a different way. It just works. The way that this is done, it's chamfered out on both sides. So it's very easy to get in from the face, or even just come in from the side like we like to do and let it drop. I have not had a single issue or thought about this lock bar. It keeps everything clean and even and flush. It just works. No issue whatsoever with the access to the lock bar and how that's done. It's just really, really well thought out, chamfered on both ends, and then just very easy to get in there and disengage it. So no issues, no anything with that lock bar. Just a very clean, smooth looking knife, and a huge winner in my opinion. If this was a knife that you were contemplating, or a knife that you were looking at to get but needed some, you know, cementing of it's a good knife, it is a damn good knife. You will not be upset that you bought this knife. As a matter of fact, if you buy this knife, you will be extremely, extremely happy with your purchase. And if you're someone who maybe wasn't looking at this knife but is now considering it, you will be happy as well. Just extremely, extremely well done from Liong Mah and Riot, and that might be one of the best duos of modern knife design and building. Liong Mah and Riot together, that's a very good duo. And I guess lastly, and most importantly, or one of the most important, is how does this thing cut? It cuts extremely, extremely well. Because of the ergos and how this is all done, you can get literally right up behind the edge comfortably and safely for a ton of control over this blade. You can use that same area to kind of lock in and get up on that tip for a more precise, controlled cut. It came, you know, right from Blade Show or right out of the box. Extremely, extremely sharp. Just really, really well done. Finish on the blade is beautiful, beautiful. Just a huge, huge fan of this knife. And the Cuff has been a very popular model for quite a few years, but it's a model that I never got to handle or experience any one of them up until this one. And I can't say compared to, you know, this cuff or that cuff. I only know about this one. I can compare it to the Field Duty. And I would have to say this one I would probably take over the Field Duty by just a little bit. I do love the Field Duty, its look, its blade shape, its materials, but I would probably give the nod to this guy here. Just so well executed. I can't really say it enough. But yeah, if you're looking for that knife that is around $300, and I think I paid more for it. I think they are, you know, I got it a month earlier. I got it before anyone else pretty much did, unless you went to Blade Show and got one. But I think they're running at $300 right now at Knife Center. Don't hold me to that, but I think Knife Center is the only place you can get these right now. Currently, I think they have exclusivity to the knife for a certain amount of time. Then it will get opened up. Probably second run, I'm going to guess. Once the first run is done, which is all going to Knife Center, I'm going to guess the second run will be opened up to other retailers. But I believe Knife Center, $300, and for $300, that is a freaking awesome deal for this knife right here. If you have any questions or comments or anything like that, feel free to leave them down in the comment section. Love hearing from you guys either which way. Let me know what you think about the new Liong Mah KUF 3.5. I love hearing from you. Are you thinking about picking one up? Have you been thinking about picking one up, or are you thinking about it now? Let me know. Hit that thumbs up button. I always appreciate that, everyone. If you're new here, we release videos just like this one every single day. Hit that subscribe button and ring the little bell. I'd love to have you here. I'll put up a couple of new videos. Go check one of them out. Have yourself an awesome day. Thanks again for watching. I will catch you on the next one.